Hello everyone, welcome to online tutor class. So today our topic is programming. So Python is a powerful model computer programming language. So let us talk about programming language means what, okay? Programming languages are used to communicate with the computer. They are needed to develop their application. A set of rules, it is we called as syntax, with set of vocabulary, keywords or reserved. We say is that set of rules mean a syntax and with set of vocabularies, that is keywords are reserved. In other words, that provides a word way of telling a computer what operations to perform is called programming language. Okay, so if you need what is mean by programming language, you can say that a set of rules, that is we say syntax. I'll write it down, then you can a set of rules we call it as a syntax. Syntax with set of vocabulary in other words, we say keywords or reserved. That provides a word way of telling a computer what approaches to perform is called programming language. So, programming language means what? So, I have written. So, you can note down. And if we talk about the syntax, so one is the syntax and the other one is the reserved word. Syntax, I'll give a short note, then you can write it down. Reserved word, or we can say that is keyword in language. That is, when you're going to learn the programming language, first you learn about the keyword. First you learn about the keyword or reserved word. Language and the syntax. Syntax mean basically rules in language. So those two you need to learn in the program language. So just like when you learn English language, you have to learn initially whatever the alphabet and then the spellings and then the grammar. So grammar we says that it is a syntax. So we says grammar as a syntax. Okay. Then similarly in the programming language, we need to think about these two, that is syntax or an reserved word. That is keywords in language and syntax in the language. So in here, when you take keywords in Python, remember entire Python language has very less number of keywords. So these are the main keywords in the Python language. So all these complex programs writing in the Python using these keywords So these are the keywords in Python, and now there is a special thing need to identify. Remember, initially we have to learn about Python language. Now in here, but whenever you going to learn a program language, why are we learning about the program language? We need to know it, okay? So normally we have the language to make the communication. So we are make the language to make the communication. So we can have the communication by having the language. So therefore, in computer also, to communicate, make the communication in computer. So we need to learn the language. So when you're going to learn the program language, mainly you have to learn about two things. That is not only for the programming language. Remember, when you take the whatever the language I speaking, we need to learn about two things. This Python is a case-sensitive language. That means simple capital letters are identified differently. So all the keywords in the Python, remember, all are simple letters, except there are three keywords. There are three keywords. I'll write it down. Okay. They are false, true, and none. Okay, so now remember three keywords. The first is capital letter. First is capital letter. So when you're writing true, you should start with first letter should be capital. So false, first letter should be capital. And these three keywords are special. So the first character start by capital, but all the others are simple. So all the others are simple letters. All the other keywords are simple letters, because you need to understand that when you're going to assign the value, if you write in all simple or capital letters, that is incorrect. Therefore, you need to have some idea about these keywords also. So these are the main keywords in the Python. So just remember true, false, none. These three are always start with the capital letters also, remember. So then we have to learn syntax. Syntax means set of rules. We need to learn about some rules like you will learn in later. As an example, write if condition. If you're writing if condition, we have to use colon. If you don't put colon, that is an error. If you don't put colon, it will be an error. And if you don't make the indentation, for an example, if anything we write and then indentation, okay, this is, we should keep some indentation. This in wait, also this part we says that indentation. Okay, so remember, if you don't make the indentation, you got an error. So therefore, these are some rules. So we need to learn the rules which we called as a syntax. If you don't follow that rules, you will get syntax error in the Python language. So when you take these program languages, I'll give you some background detail. So when you take the program language, normally we divide all the program language into two categories. So one is so I'll give a basic knowledge about the program language. the background detail. So when you take the program language, normally we divide all the program language into two categories. That is, one is the low level. One is the low level language. Then next is the high level language. So what are the low level languages? There are two low level languages. That is, we says that machine language, and next is the assembly language, assembly language. And why are we calling these two are low level? So because they are close to low levels of the computer. That means these two languages are very close to the lowest level, mean related to the hardware, like it is close to the hardware. But high level languages, and why are we calling high level languages? These are very close to the user, but not very close to the hardware. But in low level language, it is close to the hardware. But in here, high level languages, it's very close to the user. So therefore, with these languages, machine language and assembly language, we called as a low level language. High level language such as C, C++, Python, like languages are called as high level language. So then you need to understand what is difference between the low level language and the high level language. Okay. So low level means very closer to the computer, and high level means very close to the user. Okay. So now when you take the low level language, remember machine language and assembly language are the two low level languages. Okay. So now how under that machine languages is the where machine can understand and where everything should be in our ones and zero format. It is ones and zero format. So which can be understood by the computer directly. So where the translation is not needed and execute very faster. But understand machine language is very difficult to the user. Then they are given assembly language, which is bit easier than machine language, but still it is a low level language. And again, remember, assembly language cannot be understood by machine. So we need translate into machine code. So we need to use the assembler. Assembler is needed. We can translate. It is a translate one. So therefore, people develop the high level languages. Understood? So these are the languages which are very close to the user, but computer can't understand. It is very close to the user, the high level language, but computer can't understand. Okay. For assembly language, it is bit easier, but we are using translator called assembler. Translator. Okay. Therefore, in high level language, always needed to have a translator to translate the program codes into high level language to machine codes. So then machine can understand. So therefore, it is very easy to write the program and easy to find the error, and you can develop the complex program using high level language like C, C++, Java, Pascal, Fortran like language. So can be used to develop the software very easily, and you can identify error also. Okay, so which is very close to the user but not close to the machine. Therefore, we need to have the translations. So then we are looking high level language also. So we need to have translators. So translators, if you talks about the translators, first one is assembler. Second, compiler. Third, interpreter. Okay. Now we'll talk. These are the translators which translate the high level language into machine codes. So the compiler is the language. So compiler is the language. We convert the program from the high level language to the low level language. High level language to the low level language. And here remember, entire program will be translated into machine code, not line by line. It is translated by entire program. Then later we can run the program. So if you compile the program today, you can run it tomorrow. There is no problem. So normally compiler programs are very faster because you can compile an entire program into machine code. Later you can execute it. But when you take the interpreter, remember, takes only line by line. It takes first line and then translate into machine code and execute, and second line and translate into machine code and execute. Therefore, interpreter is taking each line one by one and translate to machine code. If there is no any syntax error, then execute, and the second line translate into machine code. If there is no any syntax error, then execute. Like every time when you are going to run, we need to execute, but a compiler translate a whole program in machine code. Later you can execute. Therefore, since we are running line by line, this will be little bit slower. Interpreter will be slower. Remember, Python has an interpreter, not a compiler. Okay. So other way to categorize program languages, to remember, we categorize as a first generation. We have the low level and high level. Remember, this low level is two languages are called first generation and second generation. In high level language, we have third, fourth and fifth generation. Okay, so what are the languages corresponded each generation in language? Remember, first generation is, now we talks about the computer generations. First generation, machine code, or we can say machine language. And second generation is assembly language. Third generation, high level language. And fourth, third and fourth is difference is that normally third generation language are we says that procedural languages. Fourth generation languages, we says that declarative languages. Language. And fifth generation is AI. It is related, artificial intelligence related language. So that is how you get a 5 generations. First generation is machine code. Second generation is assembly language. Third generation is high level language, or we can say that procedural language. And the fourth generation is the declarative language, and fifth generation is the artificial intelligence based language. Then now what is the difference between the procedural and declarative language? Remember, procedural language mean, as the name implies, we write the program as a procedural. Then the computer has to follow the procedural and produce the output. That is all the instruction we will provide in the program. We just write the procedure or normally functions and the program as follow. The procedure and the produce output. But declarative language is totally different. In declarative languages, we are not writing the steps that must be performed by the computer. Instant, we declare what we want, like this SQL, structured query language. So where we just say what we want, but you don't say how to do that. By that, so program or computer, so just you declare what are the things you want, then the program language should be able to find the output based on that. So that is the main difference in the procedural and declarative language. So then we just come to the programming part. Now only we are coming to the our main part, what we're going to be discuss, programming. So we are just going to write the programming. Basically, program means a set of codes. Remember, it is a programming means a set of codes. So codes mean a set of instruction. Programming means set of codes. Then codes mean set of instruction. Set of instruction. So when you take the program, we are writing the program. That means we are writing instructions. That means we are writing instruction. When you write the instruction, computer follow that instruction and produce the output. So when you write the instruction, you have to learn programming language clearly. So otherwise, computer generate syntax error. So we already studied syntax mean what, right? So it is generates a syntax error if you don't know the rules and if you don't know the program. So then we will come to the Python language. Then remember, this is a very powerful computer program language. There are a lot of development done in the Python language. Then there are a lot of the development done in the Python language. It was developed by the person names you can see Guido van Rossum, and it is a free and this is developed this Python language, and it is a supportive for the object related concepts also. And now remember, compare the other languages. Python is one of a very easy language. Python is a very easy language. comparing to the other language. So now do the programming. You need to do first is you have to download www.python.org. I have, sorry. I have use this link. You can download latest version by visiting the Python homepage. Then this is a Python interpreter and install in the computer, and it is not taken that much time. Take that into your computer to write the program, because without having that you may not be able to write the program. Okay, after you install, you can write the program and a simple communication, and here then the complex program right in that interface. So when you write the program, you can go to the file, and later we will see write the complex program. Initially, we will work with the simple calculation things. Later, we will go to the program writing, and we can do some program to develop some apps. So that is the initial part of the Python. So thank you for joining online tutor. Thank you for everyone.